Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. News at 12.
For the local scene, Albay distributes learning packages for child development centers. The Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office distributed 1,440 learning resource packages to child development centers across Albay to strengthen early childhood education services. The learning packages contain educational tools and teaching materials designed to help educators, child development workers, and parent mentors guide young learners more effectively. Each Child Development Center received 8 sets of learning resources to improve classroom instruction and enhance children's learning experiences. The materials will also support teachers and mentors in developing activities suited to children's daily routines and developmental needs. The initiative is part of the continuing effort of the provincial government of Albay to expand access to quality early childhood education across the province. Moreover, Albay Provincial Health Office continues health support for Mayon evacuees. The Albay Provincial Health Office continues distributing hygiene kits and N95 face masks to families affected by the ongoing unrest of Mayon volcano in Ginobatan and Camalig. The Provincial Health Office Water Sanitation and Hygiene Team provided N95 face masks to residents in Ginobatan to help protect communities from ashfall-related health risks. Hygiene kits were also distributed to evacuees staying at the Tagaytay Evacuation Center in Camalig to support sanitation and prevent the spread of illnesses. Health authorities said the continuing initiative aims to protect displaced families, especially children, senior citizens, and pregnant women. Residents and evacuees were also reminded to wear protective masks, observe proper hygiene, and follow advisories from local disaster and health officials. Meanwhile, animal public health partnership strengthened in Albay. The Albay Veterinary Office and the Naval Installation Facility Southern Luzon are strengthening their partnership to improve veterinary and public health services in the province. The initiative focuses on stronger rabies prevention and control, improve veterinary disaster response, and enhance biosecurity measures. Officials also discussed coordinated efforts to address animal, human, and environmental health concerns through interagency collaboration. The meeting ended with both parties committing to joint programs supporting animal welfare and public health initiatives in Albay. In the national scene, Dizon vows to push accountability and flood control probe amid Senate shake-up. Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon assures that the executive branch, together with the Office of the Ombudsman, will continue pursuing accountability in the alleged flood control scandal despite the ongoing leadership shake-up in the Senate. The assurance came after changes in the Senate leadership led not only to the election of a new Senate president but also to the declaration of all Senate committee chairmanships as vacant. The prompted concerns online that the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee's partial report on the flood control probe could be sidelined. Questions were also raised over the possible release of controversial contractor Curly Discaya from Senate detention. But Dizon said the government remains firm in holding those involved accountable, stressing that Discaya would not evade prosecution. Meanwhile, Senator De La Rosa Camp confirms filing for TRO against ICC. The legal counsel of Senator Ronald Batu de la Rosa confirmed that they have filed a supplemental motion before the Supreme Court asking for a temporary restraining order against the implementation of an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court. Israelito Torion, one of the lawyers of De La Rosa, confirmed that they made the filing on Monday night as they continuously questioning the legality of the ICC arrest warrant against his client, adding that they will only submit to the jurisdiction of the Philippine authority. Jimmy Bondoc, another one of the De La Rosa's lawyers, also disclosed that their camp had filed a writ of amparo before the Supreme Court. According to him, the writ, once granted, would provide De La Rosa with bigger form of protection while he remains under the Senate's protective custody. Torion said that they are verifying information of an alleged aircraft that is already on standby in case De La Rosa will be arrested. In related story, Senator Cayetano accused of creating a constitutional crisis over Senator De La Rosa's case. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV accused newly sat Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano of creating a constitutional crisis over his handling of Senator Ronald De La Rosa. Trillanes on Monday presented the ICC arrest warrant against De La Rosa, which the tribunal later confirmed to be legitimate. But Cayetano vowed that he would not allow De La Rosa to be captured based on an international warrant and said local courts could only enforce a valid arrest. The former senator said a Domestic Law Republic Act 9851 penalizing international crimes against humanity can be cited as a basis for De La Rosa's looming arrest, and a Senate resolution does not have a legal effect and usually only reflects the sentiment of lawmakers cannot supersede a law. De La Rosa made the surprise attendance Monday following a 6-month absence at the Senate. He joined a coup led by his colleagues allied with the Vice President to oust Senator Vicente Soto III and installed Cayetano as the new leader of the chamber, which is now constitutionally mandated to try the Vice President following her impeachment at the House. De La Rosa is now holed up at the Senate following a failed attempt on Monday by the National Bureau of Investigation to arrest him. For the news outside the country, the United Arab Emirates carried out attacks on Iran early last month, released by an American newspaper, revealing previously unknown participation in the war by the Gulf country. It stated that UAE's attack targeted a refinery located off Iran's Lavan Islands and took place around the time U.S. President Donald Trump was announcing a ceasefire in the war, after a 5-week airstrike campaign. AFP has not been able to independently verify the reported Emirati attacks. However, the morning of April 8, Iranian state broadcaster said missile and drone attacks on the Emirates and Kuwait have been taking place a few hours just hours after the ceasefire came into effect. The UAE said that it had been targeted by the 17 Iranian missile and 35 drones. The refinery was Iran's 10th biggest refinery as of 2020, handling 60,000 barrels of crude per day, according to EIA figures. Meanwhile, 125 evacuated from the hantavirus-affected cruise ship. Spanish Health Minister Monica Garcia Gomez said that they have already evacuated 125 passenger and crew members from 23 countries from the hantavirus-affected cruise ship MV Honduras. Gomez said that the 2 planes then took them to the Netherlands, with the first arriving early Tuesday carried mostly crew members, 17 Filipinos, a Dutch national, and a German, along with a few cruise passengers. The second flight departed a little later, took 6 other passengers, 4 Australians, a New Zealander, and a Briton living in Australia. The cruise ship now left Spain's Canary Island bound for the Netherlands after the last passengers on board disembarked and were flown home to quarantine. In a related international update to our country, Philippines-Paraguay signed key deals. Philippines and Paraguay have signed several agreements, including those involving trade, agriculture, and foreign affairs during the official visit of Paraguay President Santiago Peña to the Philippines. President Marcos and Peña witnessed the signing of the Memoranda of Agreement between the Philippines and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry and Paraguay's Investment and Export Network, or RIDIX. Foreign Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro and her Paraguayan counterpart, Foreign Minister Ruben Ramirez, also signed the Visa Waiver Agreement, which institutionalized the mutual provision of visa-free privileges for ordinary passport holders. The two countries committed to boost their bilateral through a strategic partnership, as such by connecting their private business communities and facilitating the exchange of their prime commodities, expanding this partnership to their respective regional blocs. That ends our news break for today, May 2026. We'll be back for tomorrow's more news updates. Thanks to our news break writers, Elja Lorejo and Naomi Hernandez. And on the technical side, we have Mr. Richard Bobes. To our Provincial Information Office, OIC Marty Gonzalez, under the supervision of our Governor Noel Irusal. This has been your anchor, Anessa P. Babb. Thank you for subscribing.